Hi, Victoria here from the Bookkeeper Hub, HBA and Compass, and of course author of Zest for Success. Back in my car studio today. I've just pulled up at work and thought I'd pop out a quick video to you talking about licenses and fees. When you start a new business, there's lots of thought you need to put into what licenses that you need to have. And the first one comes into play when you talk about, are you going to operate as a sole trader or partnership or a company? And even if you do operate as a company, do you have a business name that you want to register? So if you register a business in your own name, nobody can take it off you. So a prime example of that would be John Smith Plumbing. But if you wanted to have Smith Brothers Plumbing, there's nothing to stop someone else coming along and taking that business name. And once they have that business name, they can effectively shut you down, take all your customers, advertise against you, and there is absolutely nothing you can do about it. So a business name registration is an ASIC registration. It's very easy to do. The first thing you need to do is check your business name availability on the ASIC website, which is www.asic.gov.au, and then search the registers for business name availability. It's a free search, so there's no excuse for not doing it. And even if you want to set up a company, you need to make sure that that business name is not already registered, because unless you're the owner of that business name, then you can't register your company in that name. Keeping in mind that you can have variations of business names, so perhaps you might have Smith Brothers Plumbing is already available, but if you put Smith Brothers Queensland, you may be able to register that name. ASIC lately has been saying everything needs to be reviewed. I think they're putting more checks and balances in there, but it is something that you do need to think about as a business name, because there's nothing worse than you going out, getting all your branding, your website, starting to get customers, and the guy up the door comes in and goes, oh, there's no business name registered for that business. I'll register it and I'll go into competition with you. Very, very important. And in saying that, when we're talking about business names and company names, if there is already a company set up in that name, they can't take the business name either. So it means you don't have to have that extra registration fee, but you can actually operate in more than one business name per operator. So for instance, I could be Smith Brothers Plumbing, I could be 24/7 Plumbing, or whatever it is that I wanted to be that still operates under the same entity, as long as I own those business names. So that's a quick review of Business Names 101, which is very, very important. Another license that you need to know something about is industry licenses. So it all depends on what industry you are, but generally there are lots, well, not lots, but there is a license that you need to have to a governing body. So for instance, I'm a BAS agent, so I need to be registered with the Tax Agents Board. I need to have professional qualifications, I need to have continuing professional development, and all that needs to be monitored and updated on a regular basis. I know for a fact there's surveyors boards, there's engineers boards, there's the Law Association. If you're a tradie, in Queensland it's the QBCC, which is the Queensland Building and Construction Commission. There's also plumbing boards and electricians boards, and I'm sure that they're exactly the same in other states of Australia. So you need to make sure before you go out and start trading that you do have the relevant industry licenses that you need. And if you're operating a business such as a cafe or somewhere that has live music, you need to make sure that you have a registration with APRA, which is the Australian Performing Rights Association, which means that some royalties go back to the artists that provide the music. I mean, there's all been lots of discussion in the media for years and years about pirating, so you want to make sure that if you are having music in your business, that you are giving the rights to the right people. Cafes as well have other licenses that they need, so perhaps a council food licence for the ability to prepare food. Means the health inspector has to come out and make sure that your premises are nice and clean, which of course you'd want if you're serving food, and if you were eating food you'd expect that would be the case. There may be a council licence to serve food on the footpath if you've got an extended dining area. a liquor licence if you're serving alcohol, and perhaps even a trade waste licence for getting rid of trade waste, and that applies for manufacturing businesses as well. Last but not least, I'm going to cover workers' compensation, which is an absolute must if you employ staff. So what that does is cover them for loss of income and medical treatment if they are injured at work. And that includes on the way to and from work. So someone gets to go in their car and slips on the way in and sprains their ankle. Well, it means that you don't have to pay for their medical treatment. Very, very relevant, particularly with the likes of depression and other long-term illnesses that can be caused perhaps by work incidents. Now, hopefully your workplace isn't one that causes it, but there could be some long-term incidences. For instance, we had our receptionist at HBA in Compass had a shoulder injury, and she was off work for 6 weeks, and we had to make changes to the way her desk was laid out, to the way she answered the phone. Instead of having one of those things that she sits on the side and talks to, she's now got a headset. And it's your duty as an employer to make sure that you've got a safe workplace for your employees. But on the flip side, WorkCover was able to pay her for those 6 weeks, so we weren't paying for her while we had to get a temp in or make do without her, and they were also able to pay for her medical treatment, so it didn't come back to us. So as soon as you have an employee, workers' compensation insurance is essential. In Queensland, it's called WorkCover. In South Australia, it's called WorkSafe SA. All different things in different states of Australia, but vitally important. So that's all I'm going to talk about licences tomorrow. I'll see you on the other side, and we'll see where my car studio is. Bye.